Hi friends, this is Callie. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got a project made using a honeybee stamps set called Dahlias. It was illustrated by my friend Emily Midget. She's got several floral designs and this is the first one that I've been able to use, so I'm happy to be able to share it with you. Alright, so we're going to start off by stamping these images. I'm using that large looser dahlia as well as the bud and a few of the leaves. And then we're going to color with Copic markers and I'm going to do a tricolor blend. I'm fading from a pink to peach color and then to a light yellow. I'm putting the caps up in the right hand corner for you so you can see, but I've also swatched out the colors that I'm using on the left there. There's lots of lines and textures on this image already, so I'm using a flicking motion during coloring so that I don't have to do a lot of blending and it really makes the coloring go by a lot faster and adds to the texture and color blend, in my opinion. So I have added the darkest color first and then blended with that lighter orange and then the yellow, and then going back to saturate more darker colors if I feel like it's needed, like I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to see me coloring all of this. We are using the same method on everything. I'm just flicking the darker color on first, then the medium, then the light. So now we're doing the leaves and the stems on this little bud here. I, once more, am adding the darker color first in the areas where I think it should look darkest, and then adding the lighter colors towards the outer edges and where I think light would hit. Now on the leaves, I'm not necessarily doing that. I'm just doing the lighter colors around the outer edges, just like I am with the petals, and then the darker color towards the center. Super straightforward, and I hope you find it easy to follow this technique. I spend so much time coloring anymore that it almost becomes dreadful. I want it to be quick and easy, so I hope you find this helpful. So once I have everything colored, I'm just going to die cut, and then we're ready to work on the background. I'm just going to set those images aside after I add a few white gel highlights like I'm doing right now. I want to give my floral centers a bit more texture, so I'm just dabbing a few dots in there, and then I'm adding a few lines on all of the petals and all of the leaves. Alright, so now we can set that aside and work on our background. I've got the farmhouse background here, and I love this background. So I'm stamping it lightly with some stone ink. I've set it in my MISTI, and I like this stamp also because it's a clear stamp and you can see through. So that's really a nice added bonus for this background stamp. And I've stamped once and I'm going to stamp again. It still looks a little bit splotchy, but remember that this ink does smooth out after a little while. So I'm going to stop there because I don't want those fine lines and details to get muddled by a lot of ink. All right, and this is another plus about the clear stamps. You can line it up perfectly in the MISTI, and then it also helps with the trimming process. So I've trimmed this down a 1/4 inch off all of the sides, making sure that those squares are perfect. And then now I've laid out my design. That'll help me see how much space I have left for my sentiment, and once I've decided what I'm going to use, I'll go ahead and lay down my images with adhesive. So I want my bloom to be the only thing that's popping up off the page. I want everything else to kind of lay behind it on the panel so that it looks like it's got a more 3D dimensional feel to it. So I've added the foam tape, and now I'm going to use my Gina K Connect glue and add all of the leaves, giving me a little bit of wiggle room before it dries and stays in place. All right, so while I'm doing that, I want to ask you a question. Are you guys ready for winter? Because I'm kind of sad that all of these floral cards are going to kind of disappear. We're going to be seeing so many Christmas cards for the next few months that I just kind of wanted to squeeze in a few more floral projects. Makes me feel a little bit better. Kind of tricks my brain into thinking it's really not freezing cold outside right now. All right, so once we are done putting this together, I'm going to emboss the sentiment. I've got one of the sentiments from that same Dahlias stamp set, and I am preparing my card panel here in black, and I'm going to stamp and emboss it in white. There is a coordinating die, which I love this about honeybee stamps. They have dies for their sentiments. So it cuts everything around the sentiments and the words so nicely, and you don't have to worry about cutting around the words when sentiments are not on a line. All right, so I've die cut that off camera, and now I'm just going to add foam tape to give that a little bit of dimension over the flowers in the top there, and I will be using my T ruler to help me line that up. I use my T ruler on every card. This helps me line it all straight, and I usually can eyeball it pretty good, but I feel like for videos, since I can't get over the card, the T-ruler really helps me line things up. Last but not least, I'm adding a few sequins here. I love these sequins. They're Trinity Stamps Soapy Bubbles, and they're iridescent in color. So like the flowers, I like to lay out my sequins before I adhere them to my card. That way you have a nice amount of sparkle, but not too much. I've added foam tape on the back of this because I want to give my card a little bit more dimension than what I have with that one large bloom and the sentiment. So I am adding that to my card base now, and that'll finish my card. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today as I create this card. If you like it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to this awesome channel. And if you feel so inclined, leave me a comment below, and I'd love to engage with you here on my YouTube channel. If you've got more interest in any of my videos, I will link 2 more here at the end, and you can check them out. Thanks again for stopping by, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.